All right, welcome to what week is this? Week 9, I think we're coming into. This week we are dealing with the idea again of um, participation campaigns and elections. This is chapter 9 of the text. We're going to learn a little bit about sort of the nature of participation. We're supposed to be a democratic society, but the reality is that you're under no compulsion to vote. And the reality is that who shows up on election day oftentimes get to choose who the winners are. And so that has a profound impact on our election systems. So again, the question is who participates, who sets the rules, to the extent, how fair are the rules that govern elections. Um, Frankly, a number of states, and again, tends to be bipartisan, and I think you'll find uh, that the rules make it harder for certain people to vote in certain states. In California, in New York, they tend to have rules that sort of benefit, the Democratic Party. In Texas and Florida, they tend to have rules that benefit the Republican Party and make it harder for Democratic groups to vote. How do they go about doing that? They can't do it crudely by saying, we're going to make it harder for Democrats or Republicans to vote. They do, however, they have uh, tactics that are used. For example, in the South, they have a way of limiting the number of precincts, making it harder for people to get to the place where they need to vote, and then guaranteeing that the lines to vote are very long. That is one of the ways that state election rules can be manipulated. Voter ID laws clearly have tended to adversely impact the ability of low-income Americans and elderly Americans to vote in elections. So these are all instances of kind of the kind of gamesmanship that go into running elections in situations where you're more interested in getting your people out to vote as opposed to getting all registered voters out to vote. Election campaigns are a very long process. A lot of people, I mean, it takes years, especially if you're running for, a major office, particularly the presidency. You have to run a number of different campaigns in different places simultaneously. You have to raise and spend enormous sums of money. Um, we're going to talk a little bit about the factors that cause Americans to vote for one party or the other. Again, it's a lot of it has to do with sort of how you're raised. It's got to do with what part of the country you were raised in. It's got to do with your ideological sympathies. These are all factors that play in. We're going to talk about the 2020 elections and sort of the three crises that kind of punctuated that 2020 presidential election cycle. The fact that we were conducting a major presidential campaign in the midst of a pandemic, the fact that you had an economic set of challenges, and ultimately you had an incumbent president who appeared determined to not lose under any circumstances. And so these are all important factors. So for this week, we have the forum and the quiz. So we just have those two assignments. Let's make sure we do our work, and let's have a great week.